Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to share some information about the data that I collect. And I did some experimenting here this last week. Actually, it's been longer than a week. And it involves coffee, MCT oil, and allulose. I have read every study in every journal that I can find in regards to allulose and what it does to blood glucose. So I wanted to experiment with it on my carnivore journey. And what I found is pretty interesting for myself. And it pretty much verifies what the studies, pretty much all of the studies say. What's interesting is most of the studies that I have found are coming out of Japan. And also Dr. Ben Bickman talks about allulose a little bit. And he's in the middle of a study, I think, unless it's done and I can't find it, but they're studying it as well. So on a typical piece of paper, on a typical day, this is what I do right here. I take my readings, record them, and I'll make notes. And what is happening is when I wake up, I usually make a cup of coffee. And I just introduced coffee back into my carnivore diet. This isn't something that I've been doing for 3 years. The reason I did that is I did want to test the allulose. And I really like coffee and missed it. So I figured, hey, you know what? That'll be a good way to test this. So the coffee consists of 3/4 cups of a cup of coffee, about a tablespoon of MCT oil, and 1 heaping teaspoon of allulose. And I'm going to get a little more critical in my measurements on that as far as weight, because what they're saying in the studies is that you want about 5 to 10 grams of allulose. And that's what they used in their studies to show a reduction in blood glucose during a meal that included carbs. Well, I'm not eating carbs. And then the additional thing that I add in my coffee is Shamrock heavy cream, which is basically nothing more than fat. There's pretty much nothing else in it. So prior to doing this, I recorded a week prior. And I believe on some of this I did have some allulose when I started. And I understand that these numbers can vary based on my activity and when I take them and everything else. So there's all kinds of variables. And I know it's not a lot of data to calculate against. I have about 3 years of data on blood glucose and ketones, and recently GKI calculations, but I don't have a lot of data for trying this allulose out. So anyway, a couple days ago, and I had posted this in various areas, my GKI average was 4.57. With the allulose, my GKI average is 2.601. Major difference. Blood glucose average before was 99.71. My new average is 95.52. Standard deviation was 7.162, which isn't bad at all. Standard deviation before was 6.43. So like I said, it depends on the readings, on what I'm doing, when I take the measurements and everything. Node count for both tests, or both calculations, were 21 pokes. So N equals nodes equals 21 for each round of tests. Ketones before, the average was 1.32. Ketones during the allulose test came up to 2.26. That's a significant difference. And what I'm looking for in my diet is a high therapeutic level of ketosis. And for me, and my understanding is those levels are below a number of 3.0. So really happy with that. The GKI dropped below 3. That's excellent. GKI before was above 3, which is okay. I'm actually okay with anything 6.0 and under. But for me, I consider this excellent. And I got to be quite honest. I've seen my blood glucose go up in the last year, and my recent A1C test showed my A1C went up. I'm at the verge of what's considered by definition pre-diabetic. So I understand why they go up, because of the red blood cells living longer. But maybe they need to redefine what pre-diabetic is, and because of this, and it certainly doesn't apply to somebody on the carnivore diet. So I just thought I'd share that. Any comments would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching.